Yeah.
You got it. And anyway, and Days of the Future Past, Howard Hinman. Take it away, Howard.
By show of hands, for those willing to share, who is familiar with Ernest Hemingway's work, The Sun Also Rises? Question mark. If not, do you know that centers on a sport legal in most of the 31 states of Mexico and the federal district, yet frowned upon throughout virtually the entire USA and Canada? In other words, something for which there's little tolerance, even if it's a cartoon character, and this would be bullfighting. One of the attractions of Mexico is it has several bull rings. Indeed, the largest one in the world, holding up to 48,000 spectators, is in Mexico City, Distrito Federal. Bullfighting, however, is fading in Mexico like a cartoon character losing its ink. Tijuana used to have a 22,000-seat arena downtown. Some local government official pulled a fast one a few years back and had it knocked down. These days, they make do in a 3,000-seat arena, the bullring by the sea, the Pacific Ocean. Let us look at the possible transformation of the bull rings. Here was a genius who might inspire us. Does a name by show of hands, Les Richter, mean anything to any of you? And I'll spell it L-I-S-R-I-C-H-T-E-R. Les Richter made his impact both in professional football, the NFL, and in automobile racing. He was a kind of Tommy Novus of the 1950s, early 1960s. Both gentlemen were, because they are both deceased, primarily linebackers, and both were great players on terrible teams. Les Richter, for the 1950s, 1960s, post late 40s, early 50s glory years of the Los Angeles Rams, and before the first stint of George Allen, and Tommy Novus, the absolutely terrible early years of the Atlanta Falcon teams. Both went both ways. In other words, offense and defense in university. As a matter of fact, for friends from Texas, as far as he can determine, Tommy Novus was the last major college player to go both ways for the University of Texas at Austin, the Longhorns. Lester Richter went both ways in the pros. Plus, Richter was a place kicker as well. He was valedictorian of Cal Berkeley in 1952. He spent 2 years in the United States Army in Korea. In his last year in 1962 for the Rams, he played at the center position. He then rose in the field of automobile racing. He became the president of Riverside International Raceway, and when that track closed, he became the director of operations for NASCAR, which is about as high as you can get in NASCAR if you're not a member of the France family or married to a France family member. The France family founded NASCAR in early 1948 in a Florida bar. So I get ahead in NASCAR as you're either a France family member or you marry it. Patronage or nepotism, both work. Here is what I learned from Les Richter. This is an important business lesson. This is the hub around the spokes of this talk are built. Keep your capital goods working 24/7, 365. In the context of a racetrack, that means you keep your race calendar full each and every weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if it's a holiday, find a way to book an event. And also, Les Richter is one of the pioneers in keeping that capital good working during the week as well. At Riverside International, he organized things like tire tests around and around the track, car endurance tests around the track. The first Sears Die Hard battery commercials were all filmed at what was affectionately nicknamed Riverside, where the Moreno Valley Mall now sits. The possible transformation of the bull rings. With only a little bit of capital improvement, perhaps 3-4 dressing rooms, bullfights might feature events such as the spectacle of Minoan bull jumping, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And also French cow pole jumping. What is French cow pole jumping? It's a sport from the south of France and into Spain, southwest France into Spain, where they actually go over the cows, the females of the fighting bull stock, on a pole. Once or twice a year, usually on a major feast day, bulls are used. Here is a Francisco Goya painting from 1815. If it will pick up, let's see if we'll pick it up. Here it is. There it is. You can see it. The gentleman going over the bull in Madrid in 1815. Let's go back to where I was. One moment. Oh, there it is. There's also bull riding because you are the facility for the bulls, and co-ed paintball games because you now have 4 or 5 dressing rooms. All types of rodeo as well because you have at the bull rings facilities for horses, including calf roping, which can be dangerous. Ask the spirit of the late Malcolm Baldrige Jr. He was the United States Secretary of Commerce in the mid-1980s. Before that, he'd been a professional bull roper, and he literally went into business, and he was a celebrity rodeo in July 1986 in Central Valley, California, and his horse falls on him, and he's fatally injured. Talk about a bizarre way to die, one we ought to have no tolerance for. Also, equestrian events, and an interesting one, flat ring roller derby. What is flat ring roller derby? Flat ring roller derby is, you've probably seen the bank track roller derby, which actually has 4 teams, a men's, a ladies on one side, and a men's and ladies on the other side. Since most arenas or stadiums only have 3 dressing rooms, a small one for the official, and 2 for each team, 1 for each team, basically all the men change together, all the ladies change together. We can give them their own dressing room. When I was first in Nevada permanently in about Thanksgiving 2018, I'm in the Trader Joe's in Henderson. I see a lady in a sporting outfit, and I go, soccer or volleyball. I go up to the young lady who was a brunette, and I said, ma'am, are you perhaps coming from soccer or volleyball practice? None of the above. Ladies, flat ring roller derby. And actually the name of the team, and they play. They didn't do much in 2020. However, 2019, they played a little circuit in Arizona and Utah, etc. And they're called the Sin City Roller Girls. Let us figure out how to pay for all these things at our bull rings. Possible sponsors for Tijuana would include the Valle de Guadalupe Winery, which is northeast of Ensenada. Also, liquor of all types. Tobacco, which is a staple of bull ring, including cigars, which is one of the true staples of the bull ring. Various varieties of cannabis, including Canna, which is actually cannabis minus THC, the psychoactive agreement, and it's usually an edible, an ointment, or a salve. Even if bullfighting itself is banned due to a lack of tolerance, Minoan bull jumping with its nubile and topless young ladies and gentlemen may live on. We have the frescoes of the Minoan civilization on the Isle of Crete where they worship the bull. They also do a similar thing in India. And that was actually, the Minoan civilization was wiped out by a volcanic eruption up the neighboring island of Santorini. Since we're going to modernize this in a very tolerant way, we will, instead of using loincloths, we will use shorts and no bikini bottoms required. And since we're being audacious, we'll ask the artist Pink to sponsor us. This is based on the ladies' 2021 beach handball bikini controversy. I'm really excited about Minoan bull jumping, and I may break it out as a separate talk. The big money, ladies and gentlemen, presiding officer, is in the sponsorship, the souvenirs, and especially the satellite broadcast rights to the spectacles.